Hello, everybody, and welcome. My name is Dr. JC Dornick, and I am a certified health coach, and it's my honor and privilege to be with you today. As you can see, the name of this presentation today about this idea of becoming a health coach, a virtual coach, is called Creating Optimal Health. And as we love to say, one healthy habit at a time. So we want to kick this off and just really focus on this idea of taking this idea of becoming a health coach as an added tool to the belt of a registered dietitian or a nutritionist who's extremely skilled in taking that person and explaining to them everything that they need to do to correct things in their life and move forward with their health, but focusing on the idea of having a broader approach to being able to help anybody regardless of their circumstance, and also from the comfort of your own home, and also getting referrals that can be attained worldwide and just getting better results, creating a better income stream. But once again, it's an added tool to your belt, and it's just this idea of being able to help more people create more income so that you can live the life that you desire. So it's my honor and privilege that we have two people from the field of dietitians and nutritionists, and I want to turn it over first to the amazing Valerie Bercier. And I want to just quickly say something about Valerie Bercier. I met Valerie, and she's obviously a registered dietitian, and she's got just such a wealth of knowledge. You hear her story, but she also happens to be a world-class bowler. And as a timestamp, she actually was the Rookie of the Year in 2019. So this is somebody that has this amazing career on the side, but just has such a passion for health. So Valerie, why don't you take it away? Let's hear your story.
Thank you so much, JC. And yeah, I look at these pictures and I think that is part of my identity. But what I really and have always wanted to do is just help people improve their quality of life. And that's why I became a registered dietitian. And so I've almost been a dietitian for about 5 years, and I've been an Optavia coach for approaching 3 years now. I started very quickly into my career with Optavia as an RD, and it found me through LinkedIn. Chiropractor Dr. Yalachek reached out to me and through LinkedIn. And I was so thankful because I was actually looking for this, which is, why we're doing the same. And we're looking for other RDs that were like me. In terms of, I wanted to start a private practice. I was frantically trying to figure out how to do that, where my clients were going to come from, and, how I was actually going to compete with the diet industry. Because every person that I went to or that I was trying to help they just wanted a quick fix. They wanted a fad diet. And we know that there's no sustainability in that. It's about behavior change. And so because I knew that, I was thinking, well, how am I going to help them get all of these quick results that they want without them, completely changing everything that they need to do for, a period of time and then going back to their old habits. It wasn't, and then, here it is, here's Optavia. And I fell in love with it. And you'll hear more about what Optavia is. But, long story short, the reason I was able to actually focus on bring Optavia into my life was because I had to stop working because I'm Canadian. I know this picture doesn't actually show that, but I got married and I had to apply for permanent residency, and that required me to stop working for 3 months. And I don't know if any of you know what that entails. It is not as easy as most people think. I had to stop working for 3 months, but then I travel a lot for bowling. So I was fine, with that 3-month hiatus until I went back to, I was working as a WIC nutritionist. And thankfully I was able to get that job again. It wasn't even because they were holding my position for the 3 months. It was because another one opened, and, it worked out. But then I left the country for a bowling trip, world bowling trip, and then came back, found out that, I abandoned my application, and I was devastated. I was just about to go back to work, and I had to stop working again. And so the 3 months went by, and it was in the middle of winter, and I was just I was just like, seriously, I have a master's degree. I want to help people. I'm not able to do that even in any sort of capacity. What gives? And that forced me to go into, what do I truly want? And, with all the chaos in our lives, when do we ever actually get time to think about that? We're just like reacting and reacting. It forced me to think about it. And this was the solution for me to start a practice. It's a great tool to get started because everything is given to you. I'm not a creative person. You can see I don't even have pictures on my walls yet. I don't want to create newsletters and flyers and all of that, but I know that's what needs to be done. So, long story short, that's why I've taken off with this, and I'm able to go bowl professionally. We're traveling from Calgary, Alberta, which is, where my friend lives, down to Tucson, up to Spokane, Washington, over to Sacramento and Vegas. And I'm going to be able to, my business is actually probably going to grow while I do that. I don't have to take time off work. I'm able to coach my clients on the road. So that is my story, and you'll hear more about the program, but I would love to introduce seriously one of the, and I have goosebumps, Chelsea Bizzolo, fellow MSRD. She's got another nationally board certified health and wellness coach with the IIN, and she's, oh my gosh, just such a beautiful soul. Like we connected on a level that I never really thought was possible. Like we were strangers at one point, but now we're working together, and I love that we get to choose who we can and don't have to work with, So Chelsea, please share your story and why, you became an Optavia coach and what it's done for you.
Sure. Thank you, Valerie. Making me like tear up a little bit because I can't believe she's all the way in Michigan and I'm in Connecticut, and we're kind of like the same person in a lot of ways. But so I've been a registered dietitian for over 13 years now. And I went into the profession knowing that I wanted an eclectic working background as an RD because I really didn't know what I wanted to do with it for the rest of my life. So I've worked in long-term care, I've worked in the acute hospital setting, the community setting like Valerie at the local WIC program, and I've worked in home care alongside visiting nurses, and now I'm in an RD in the public health sector, and I've integrated my Optavia coaching practice into my current full-time schedule. And I could go on and on about the struggles of being an RD and the frustrations that I've had over the past. The requirement to recommend nutrition supplements or nutrition support, most of which have like corn syrup as their first ingredient, which drives me crazy, but I digress. The documentation requirements we have as RDs, not having enough time to spend with our patients, feeling undervalued or underpaid in the profession. I just felt like I was constantly chasing the 8-ball. And don't get me wrong, I understand the value in our craft and I understand the need for policy and procedure. I wouldn't be here if I didn't. But that said, I was just tired of working for other people under the guidelines of others, and I simply couldn't picture myself doing any of those things for the rest of my life. Like that just seemed insane to me. And I wanted to help people more and see positive patient outcomes. I wanted to do work that I truly loved, that didn't feel like work. And I wanted to have something that was flexible enough while my husband and I grow our family. We want to have children, and I want to be there to raise my children. So I continually found myself looking for the right fit and thinking there's got to be something more. And then I met Valerie on LinkedIn. So happy that I did. She introduced me to Optavia. And like many of you, I've researched a lot of diets and a lot of dietary theories out there. It's overwhelming. But Optavia is the first program that I have found that I think has it all. It's so comprehensive. It's science-based. It's founded by doctors, led by health professionals. There's registered dietitians at the corporate level. They're overseeing the fuelings that our clients eat, client recommendations, recipes for lean and green. The program is so easy to follow, and it really does work for everyone. It's something that we as Optavia coaches call predictable transformation. Follow this foolproof plan and you will lose weight and become healthier. I really wish that I found this program 13 years ago, because I could have been avoiding all this hopping around. But I just think of how many people that I could have helped. And I know that if I'm thinking to myself that I wish I found this a long time ago, I know that there are other registered dietitians out there who are thinking the exact same thing and feeling the exact same way that I did. So I want to share some client results other than weight loss that we've had on this program. They're amazing. I had one client that within 2 days of being on the plan, she reduced her sliding scale insulin by half. It was amazing. Her husband reduced his A1C, cholesterol, and triglycerides. And his doctor said to him, "I don't know what you're doing, but keep doing it." I have another one that recently, she told me that this is the first time she's felt confident in over 18 months since she's had her son. I have another client that she had frequent migraines, chronic migraines, and she's reduced the frequency of her migraines and the medication that she takes for them. Another client that I'm working with, her pant size has reduced to a lower size that she hasn't worn in 13 years. She never thought she would wear that size again. She's ecstatic. And I could go on, but my clients are losing weight and gaining health. And I have never seen results like this in any of my prior practice as an RD. And to know that I'm doing work that's so fulfilling, that I'm actually getting paid for, it kind of feels surreal, but it's not, it's real. And I get to do it from the comfort of my own home or wherever I might be at that point in time. Another thing that I found is that Optavia is all about support, and like Valerie and JC, we have a web of coaches. These are just two very important people in my Optavia line of work, but there's so many more that aren't here with us today. And when I talk to other dietitians about Optavia, some things that come up and some things that they say is, where do I find clients? That's okay, we can walk you through how to do that. We have a plan for that. Or, I don't know the first thing about weight loss. Well, I didn't either when I started, but the program is structured to not only teach you, but to help clients step by step. Some say to me, "Chelsea, how can I help someone lose weight if I need to lose weight myself?" And I would say that's even better, because you can use your success in weight loss by following the program and better support your clients through your own success. Some say, "I don't know where to start. I have no idea where to start. This is a new online business or a virtual business." That's what I was talking about before. The coaching support that we have is just so vast and supportive. I can't speak enough about it. I could go on and on about this. I get so hyped up and amped about talking about it, but I'll end with this: is what I've learned with Optavia is that you get what you put in, whether you're a coach or a client. And I cannot say enough positive things about this program. So JC and Valerie, I thank you for having me today.
Awesome. What an amazing share from both of you. And I just love just kind of stepping back and remembering when I met these two amazing, leaders in that profession. They didn't feel comfortable talking about a lot of things, including money, and I can hear that they still don't talk about it, but let's just be clear that they're getting paid very well as well to be coaches, and do it from the comfort of their own home, get referrals from anywhere in the country, now on the other side of the planet. So great to see how humble they are, but I just want to make it clear that these two are doing very, very well, helping a lot of people and getting paid well, taking a lot of pressure off of that other leak in the bucket they had. So I just want to quickly share my story. As you can see here, this is not just a fat guy losing weight. I went on this program about 13 years ago, and I lost 55 pounds, which changed my life dramatically. No matter how you look at it, if you lose weight, you're gonna take rocks off of your shoulder. But I'm gonna explain the program in a second, but the way that this program really changed my life and transformed my life, it's not what you're seeing here. Because the first phase was me in this acute situation with that little boy with a shovel. That's my son Jackson, the crying kid I pulled out of the sand to cover my left fat hip. That guy wanted to do one thing, just like your clients, he wanted to lose weight. So I went on the program and it served me well. I lost 55 pounds. But was I healthy yet? No, I just lost weight. But what I started to do is dig into the Habits of Health transformational system, the help from my coach, my version of Chelsea and Valerie. and really started to identify what really needed to change. And it was a big awakening, because I realized in that moment, my problem was not that I was overweight. My problem was not that I was eating unhealthy. Think about your clients for a second. My problem was why I was doing those things. And never before had I ever addressed that until I followed this program and I started to look at my habits of disease. And this program, one by one, just in time, as I started to wake up and become conscious versus unconscious, that's how I got in the best shape of my life. And you could look at these pictures and say, wow, but what you can't see in these pictures, and you can kind of see it in that face in the end, I'm alive. And I understand that the most important thing to me are my children. And the most important thing to me as a practicing chiropractor at the time was, yes, I wanted to take care of patients and I wanted to create dramatic results for people, but I also wanted to have a life. I also wanted to experience life at its fullest. Just like Chelsea, she's getting ready for that, but I have 2 boys and we're adopting a little girl. I have aging parents that live in different areas of the world. I want to be in full control of where I go and what I want around the things that matter most. So my after picture is, that's the little boy with the shovel right there. And that's me as a retired chiropractor, because I completely replaced my income as a successful full-time 90-hour-a-week chiropractor as a health coach, replaced my income. And I did that in about a year, by the way, right? So I'm slim, I'm fit. And by the way, I've kept my weight off now for almost 14 years, but I'm present. I'm present. And I'm helping more people in a month as a coach now, virtually, expanding into Asia now, than I did in 17 years of practice. And I want you to know that in my office, we had dietitians, nutritionists, we had life coaches, everything. And they were all amazing people, but we never saw massive amounts of people move forward. So there's 2 things I want you to see. I changed my life. I'm a product of it, but I also had the opportunity to change others. But the biggest change is in lifestyle, in them and me. Last thing I'll say on that before I explain the program, I want you to just think about, look at an unhealthy person and a health conscious person, and you'll see that they live differently. They value things differently. So what do we need to do with that unhealthy person? Do we need to help them lose weight and get them healthy? Or do we also need to help them transform into a health conscious person? That's what our program does. Let me explain how that works. We have 4 components to the program, and it's not just focused on what to eat and why, right? Our 4 components make up the 15% of success rates that you hear about in the diet industry. 85% of people that go on diets fail, meaning they lose weight and they gain the weight back. And the reason why is they focus on one thing, weight, and maybe getting healthy. But if you look at the National Institute of Health and the weight loss registries at what it is that creates the 15% success rate, because that's where we have to do the research. Let's get out of our way for a second and let's research the success rates. The people that succeed at losing weight and transforming into health conscious people access these 4 components, and this program encompasses them all. Whether you're doing this part-time as an adjunct in your office or deciding to be full-time with this one day, that's up to you. You get to use Optavia as a tool in your belt or something else, but all 4 components are taken care of, and that is how they win. And of course, we win when they win. So they get a coach, they get this Habits of Health transformational system. They also get put into a community where they can thrive. And then of course, they get a structured, goof-proof program that handles all of that guesswork and all that expensive concept that people can't really facilitate. We take care of calories, nutrition, and we also educate people how to become healthy. So let's look at the health coach. That's the first component. Anybody that goes on this program, they get a coach, just like Valerie, and just like you, just like Valerie, just like Chelsea. It's a real human being, right? And it's virtual, but it's a real human being. They're communicating with them like you're communicating with me right now. They're knowledgeable and caring. They provide encouragement, and they also tap you in and connect you to the source. Think about what happens when a client finds out what to eat and why. They go home and maybe their surroundings, their social community are out of place. Maybe they're thinking that willpower is how they're going to get through this. Maybe they're they're getting healthy, but not changing. So we put people into this micro environment of health where they have a coach, they have a community, they have the fuelings, all these things that I'm talking about. But the coach plays a very, very important role, taps them into this source. Online community, habits of health system. I'm going to go over all these things. In fact, we have something called the Life Book that takes people through a whole year of identifying what health means to them, what's important to them, and maybe a month from now, something else will be visible to you that is not right now. So the second component is they learn something. We give them this amazing habits of health transformational system, which was created by my coach, which was an interesting experience. Dr. Wayne Scott Anderson, best-selling author, created this book called The Habits of Health, the Life Book. That's that book that you go through in a year. And it helps people take series of steps to create long-term success, not short-term, long-term. And I love what it says there, rewrite their story. Folks, what I'm seeing ahead of me now is a new story. And it's one I couldn't see when I first started, and I just wanted to be not fat. Think about that. And what we do is we create lifelong transformation, and we do it on their terms, one healthy habit at a time. Think about what that means for a second. One of the challenges that we have is that we try to tell everybody what they should do all in once, rather than letting them start where they're at. You know, I had a client one time that said, I smoke cigarettes and drink Diet Coke. And I got to this point where, you know what I was thinking. I got to this point where I said, hey, that's okay. There's no calories in cigarettes and Diet Coke. You can get healthy too. So naturally, this woman, through the process, she doesn't smoke and drink Diet Coke anymore because now she values health. So take that home with you. It also comes with an app, which is something that they can track their results every day, and then little by little starts to input lessons. Right? It could be about water. It could be about mindfulness. It could be about integrating exercise in, not to lose weight, but for the right reasons, right? And it could be any one of those things, stress management. So we guide our clients on their terms as they start to awaken, go from unconscious to conscious through this system. So we focus on healthy weight. Of course we do. And that's typically why people come in, isn't it? Right? We also focus on healthy eating and hydration, and we get into these macro habits of health that are happening unconsciously in the background. We also, when it's appropriate, talk about healthy motion and exercise. We focus on sleep and energy management. Boy, doesn't that affect people's eating habits, right? A lot of people think that they're just emotional eaters, but they don't understand about this stuff running in the background. So we also dive into a healthy mindset. A lot of people feel victims of their circumstance and their lifestyle. And what is it that we really can do for them? Well, with this system, we can actually turn them to that area of their life book and the healthy habit book and start having them look and identify, hey, that's right. I didn't understand how I got triggered by that and all these things happen. You're going to love this concept of being able to guide people through this whole system. Healthy surroundings as well. Very often that's the problem. So just quickly, here's what it looks like, you know, from start to finish, from hello to full transformation. When you meet people, they come to you with whatever it is that they want, and we do an assessment on them. With this system, which is goof-proof, handles calories, nutrition, and also gets them moving in the right direction, we do help them get to a healthy weight. And that's typically what people want. They want to see the scale move and they want to get results. However, that's where diets leave off, isn't it? Isn't that where diets end? So we take them to the next step, and this is one of the unique properties, and we help them transition from a weight loss mindset to a health creation mindset. And there's a transition process. We give them another form of program for their next version of it. And by the way, to all of you health nuts out there, right? Because I am one now, you can integrate this and modify this within what it is that you believe. And you'll find that a lot of these things are very, very much in alignment with what you already do, but we just make it easier. So we give them that other system and we start talking about living the habits of health, right? We start moving away from weight loss and start talking about optimizing your health for your age and the potential for living a longer, healthier life. So 3, the other component is the community. Very often, part of the surroundings, we find that unhealthy people have a tendency of exposing that they have unhealthy friends. You know, if you meet a smoker, it's very rare that none of their friends smoke. You'll notice that the client across from you is probably a victim as well of their surroundings. So we want to take that client and not just tell them what to eat, not just support them, not just teach them things, but put them in a community where they can thrive. So we have private support groups, local virtual events, nutrition support, just like Chelsea said before, Habits of Health video calls every Wednesday night as an example. Thousands and thousands and thousands of clients converge on this thing called the Habits of Health call, where they learn about identifying bad habits, replacing them with good habits. And I will tell you one thing, if you want to stop with me for just 1 second, the next time you have a client in front of you, now that you're awakened to the fact that most of their friends probably need to be sitting in front of you as well, right? Just imagine what happens when we get that person healthy and we do it, and all of their friends say, well, if they can do it, I can do it. Well, this thing spreads like wildfire. And because we don't have to physically be somewhere, we can do it from the comfort of our own home, worldwide now, it's pretty amazing what we can accomplish. And listen, I'm not a big money talker right now, but we get paid very well to do this. And just the scenario would be, what would you do if you didn't need any money? What would you do if you created such a great income? Could be starting off as an adjunct or ancillary income, but what if that income became so nice that you could treat your practice any way you desired without that pressure? You heard from Chelsea and Valerie, very often our practice dictates our lifestyle, right? What if our practice was exactly the way we wanted it, and it was focused on them and you being able to do what you always dreamed of because money wasn't an issue? So naturally, the fourth component is what we call our fuel plan. Most clients go on a 5-in-1 program. Our philosophy is very, very sound. And it's that we encourage people to fuel themselves 6 times per day in 2 to 3 hour increments. Why? We want to help them regulate their blood sugar. As all of you know, when blood sugar goes down, what is it that we want? We want sugar. So a lot of people that say they're chocoholics, they're probably not eating frequently enough. So we like to use the term fueling rather than feeding or eating, because we like to teach people over time, because they call our fuelings, that they're also being mindful of not just calories and quantities, but also intervals and footprints of those micro and macronutrient footprints. Think about what needs to be in food to have a successful day of nourishing your body, and think about how hard it is and expensive for people to follow through doing that on their own. Right? So we give people this goof-proof system in the beginning, just like you saw me do in the first 3 months when I lost that weight. 5 Optavia scientifically formulated and designed fuelings. They're nutrient dense and carbohydrate controlled. So that's what we need to accomplish that weight loss. But then we also focus that 6th meal on what we call a lean and green meal, which is a balance of protein, carbs, and healthy fat. Guess what? That's their favorite meal of the day. And guess what imprints upon them? What they used to call a healthy meal becomes their favorite meal, and we start to see them transform into health conscious people. So if you have this amazing health program that you put together for people, imagine if they were super excited about eating it, almost as if it was a reward for them. Well, that's what happens to our clients. And we also encourage them naturally to drink more water. So what are the results? Increased energy, not just weight loss, increased energy, lower cravings because of that fueling every 2 to 3 hours, and a structured weight loss. Guys, one of the most valuable things we can do for people is flip that switch from weight loss, as I did, to health creation, right? And the only way we can truly transform somebody's health is by transforming their habits. Think about that for a second. I want to turn it over to Valerie right now, because when I first met these 2 ladies, this was kind of relatively new, and it's facilitating some of their needs, but we're growing fast, aren't we, Val?
Yes. And thank you so much, JC, for that explanation. You don't need to know all of that at first. You really don't, like Chelsea mentioned, is we have all the tools, and I'm so thankful for the mentorship. I never thought that I would need a mentor. I didn't know what that even meant. And so just the fact that we have the accountability partners, we have the support and everything else that comes along with it, that JC said, we are growing fast, and we're growing fast because we have passionate coaches, passionate clients that are getting results, and they're walking billboards. And so the community that we have, and I I didn't think that I needed, really big, like-minded community. But what I was discovering was it didn't feel good to be around all of those negative Debbie Downers. That's not what you get in this community. It's not that we're like not allowed, but we just feel so much better when we're thinking positively, talking positively, enjoying this one life that we have. And so to go to an Optavia event is, like Chelsea said, she was tearing up because I was talking about her in such a positive way. Well, that's how it feels at the whole entire event. I mean, to see other people take control of their life and truly maximize it is so inspiring. And I love it, and I'm in it. So the next steps for you are to reach back to the person that invited you. Have a conversation with them, ask the questions that you need to ask, get clarity on what it is that you want, how Optavia can be the solution for it, how we can help you, and then explore what it would look like for you. And so thank you so much for tuning in, and we hope to chat soon.